Hello, peeps. We're going to talk about a discussion, a group discussion. This time, the time. Yes. This is Princess Corner, and we're discussing the time, Mars Day and the time. And this was a Prince project, a Prince promise group to his friend Mars Day. And at the time, it was over the song Party Up. Mars Day wrote Party Up. Prince wanted that song. It was either the money he offered or start your own group. And Morris took the group. Morris said, hell, I'll take the group. So we're going to get in a little info, little facts about the band. The Time, also known as Mars Day and the Time, and the original Seven now, is an American musical group that was formed in Minneapolis in 1981. Their work has been a part of the formation of the Minneapolis sound, featuring a mix of soul music and dance music with funk, rock and roll, and more. Led by singer-songwriter Morris Day, the band members are known for having been close to Prince associates and are arguably the most successful artists who have worked with him, achieving particular popularity with R&B fans with tracks such as Jerk Out and Jungle Love. Band members Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are also longtime collaborators with Janet Jackson, producing all of her most successful albums. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the Prince formation. The Time was assembled under a clause in Prince's contract with the Warner Brothers that allowed him to recruit and produce other artists for the label, inspired by the 1980 film The Idolmaker. I love that film. Prince decided to put together a pop funk group that would serve as an outlet for material in the vein of his own early albums while he explored other genres and styles in his own career. 1981, he had built the Time out of an existing Minneapolis funk R&B unit, Flight Time, which featured Cynthia Johnson on lead vocals and sax, Anton Tony Johnson on guitar, David Island on saxophone, Jellybean Johnson on drums, Jimmy Jam and Monty Merrill on keyboards, and Terry Lewis on bass. To the last four were added Jesse Johnson on guitar and lead singer and childhood friend named Morris Day and Jerome Benton, who was a promoter drawn from another local band, Enterprise, who became Day's comic foil. Prince had used an Enterprise song Party Up on his Dirty Mind album. Shout out to Jesse Johnson and Morris Day, fellow Illinois. All right. The band went on to release four albums consisting of jamming, rock-infused 1980s funk, generally light and humorous in tone, strongly influenced by Parliament, James Brown, and Sly Stone. Although they scored numerous hits during the early 80s, including The Bird, Jungle Love, 777, 9311, Get Up, and Gigolos Get Lonely Too, The Walk, and Cool. Mostly on the R&B charts, they never approached superstardom, with the exception of singer Morris Day, who was required to follow Prince's guide vocals note for note. None of the band played on their debut album. Prince instead played all the instruments himself, crediting the production to his alter ego, you know this, Jamie Starr and Morris Day. All right. A rivalry developed between the Time and Prince's band during the 1982 Controversy tour. Yeah, they had rivals, frustrated with their lack of input on the album bearing their name and at being underpaid. The Time would take to the stage with the intent of showing up Prince. On the final night of the tour in Cincinnati during the Time set, Prince and some of his band threw eggs at the supporting act, From off stage at the time, performance. Yeah, the egg throwing. I read about that at the time's performance. Guitarist Jesse Johnson was handcuffed to a wall mounted coat rack. Prince demanded no interruptions during his performance, but as soon as he left the stage, a food fight erupted. When the battle continued at the hotel, Prince held Morris Day responsible and made him pay for all the damages. Wow. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to the Triple Threat Tour. During the 1982, 83, 1999 Triple Threat Tour, the time served as Vanity Six backing band from behind the curtain before playing their own hour hour long set. They liked the arrangement because the band saw it as a free money. Yeah, it's free money. Terry Reese Lewis said, "I'll play behind Vanity Six for 30 minutes for $250. No problem. I was going to have to do the sound check anyway." Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who had begun writing songs and producing albums on their own, working with Solar to produce Climax and with the Taboo Records to produce the SOS Band. Excuse me. Were stranded in Atlanta by a blizzard and failed to make it to a time concert San Antonio, for which Jerome had to mime playing bass guitar on stage while Prince bass. Played Lewis part off stage, and Lisa Coleman stood in for Jimmy Jam. The duo were fined and then fired. Although Prince would state in 1990, the Rolling Stone interview, "I didn't fire Jimmy and Terry. Morris asked me what I would do in this situation." You got to remember, it was his band. Whether their firing was due to the incident or to the increase in independence has never been clear. Monty Merritt took the opportunity to leave as well and would also work with Jam and Lewis. The three were replaced with Mark Cardenas Cardenas and Paul Peterson on keyboards and Rocky Harris on bass. The new lineup with Jerry Hubbard replacing Rocky Harris was featured in Prince's Purple Rain film. The time rode the wave of popularity created by the move and hit singles Jungle Love and The Bird. All right. So we're going to get to the reunion, the first reunion. In 1990, the original 7 members of the band reunited for the Graffiti Bridge movie and soundtrack, as well as the new album, Pandemonium. The project was originally called Corporate World and was set to only feature Morris and Jerome, but Warner's demanded the original lineup be brought in if Prince wanted the company's backing band for the movie. All right, so we're going to stop there. And I'm going to tell you what I like about the time. The time was a great project, a great group. And at the time, I think Prince was really, at the time, being like a Napoleon figure. He was ruling. And this was good for the fame side, but for the money side, it wasn't good. And that's why Jam and Lewis left, because they wanted to do their own thing, and the money. And Monty Merritt. Well, Jam and Lewis got fired. Monty Merritt left. Morris was unhappy too. So, you get into something you desperately want it, but hey, you find out it's not all roses. And you end up, saying that, hey, I'm not getting paid that much. So originally, the lead singer would have been Alexander O'Neal, but he wanted more money, and that wasn't happening at the time. But God is good. We got the time, and his first 2 albums, Prince was doing his thing. We saw on the second album that the time played some of some of the instruments and did singing. But on the third album, we got more of Jesse and Morris and everybody. So this was a funk band, the early funk band, and it was different, in the mode of that 80s funk where you look at groups like Cameo, Confunction, um, Lakeside. You think about, some of those groups, or even, the deal, the solo groups that was into the early funk. Hey, these was the sound, Shalimore, that synthesizer sound. And the time would be influential later on. And you see, appearing, you see the Bruno Mars inspired time song, you see CeeLo, people like that, wanted to do that sound. So they was a big part of the Minneapolis sound, and I'm glad they're around, and they was around at the time and really, really became big. In the R&B world, they was huge. You gotta remember, the time first two albums, they were gold albums. I'm going off just pure of my quotes, yeah. And the R&B world, living in that time, looking at, having big sisters and my sister boyfriend at the time, this was, people was like, well, I'm not into Prince, but yeah, I love the time. And people would go to the shows, the concerts. Uh, the time music will play songs like Girl and Get It Up and Cool 777 9311. Oh man, they was stable in the R&B communities in the ghetto and the hood. People love it. All those players and pimps and drug dealers, oh, they loved the time. So the time was really a fascinating group at the time. They brought that style of blazers, baggies, Stacey Adams. Hell, man, my brother, he started dressing like that, with the skinny ties and blazers, the Stacey Adams, the baggy pants. That was the time. That was the time's influence. And they was just a group, a great group. And that was a great, great idea by Prince. It was mainly Prince's alter ego. Jamie Starr, that was Prince. That was the other side of Prince, his funny side, his cool side. So yeah, this group was great, man, and they had a lot of hits. Um, One of my favorite songs is "Girl." Uh, I love that song. I love "Jerk Out" and "The Bird." Uh, Man, "The Bird" is the song. One of my other favorite songs from the time is "The Stick." That's a good song, "Stick." So, hey, I'm going to review some of their albums later on, but this is just a discussion, top of the head thing. The time was just a great, great band, and they had a lot of great hits. Uh, Gigolos Get Lonely too. You can go on and on. The albums, I had all their records, so I can quote some of the songs. They did like 6 songs on most of the albums, early albums. So yeah, and I hate to say this, I like Donald Trump Black version. you know, you hear this, he'll probably be bragging about the song. Because I remember when Prince died, that's all he was talking about. Prince wrote a song about me. So yeah, the time, a great funk group, and really, really should be paid some tributes, like at the Soul Train Music Awards or at the BT Awards. They should get some type of accolades because they were a great, great band. And They had a great persona and really, really set trends back in 82, 83. So, this is Princess Corner. I'm signing off. I'm saying peace. God bless. I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you. God bless you.